For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. I look at the calendar, and once we get into August and then like the 20s, 20th, 21st, 22nd, that to me is just those last 10 days, 11 days, 12 days, whatever, go very, very quickly. And when I was in school and I've never really had the summer off from a job, so I can't even say that. But though that's just, normally it was always August 1st. It was kind of, my birthday is generally when, right, as soon as you hit that, people consider sort of July and August being the 2 months of summer, really. And, you get through July, and then August just flies right by. And then that's where you're just kind of like, oh, crap, school again, work again, whatever your situation is. And so now that I look at it go, oh, August 19th, wow. But here's the deal, everybody. I've said on the show before that, I signed off from my syndicated radio program after 15 years last June. And even then, we were still kind of locked down, right? There were still shutdowns. We couldn't really do very much. So it wasn't like I had the opportunity to have a big summer anyway, because we just weren't allowed to. And so when I, quote unquote, retired from the radio show, I had this new sense of freedom. One of the things that my mom said, my mom retired about 2 years ago now. And one of the things that she said to me when I ended the show last year was, oh my God, you're going to be so bored. What are you going to do with it? And she was very, very concerned about my time. And I kind of thought, you're actually putting your boredom on me. You're almost trying to make me go and say, oh yeah, I'm bored. No, I love it, because for 15 years when I was hosting my show, remember, I was hosting a top 40 show, a country music show, a daily entertainment headline show, this podcast. I was writing a newspaper column. We put out books. We started a men's swimwear line. We launched a coffee company. I have no boredom in my life, and I haven't. But then when I stopped doing the radio shows and things kind of slowed down, I'm loving it. I am loving waking up at 10:30 in the morning every day. I have no interest in waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, especially in the winter, and schlepping outside, going to an office. Screw that. For now anyway, who knows? Maybe in a couple years I will be bored. But you have to remember that we've got 2 great dogs. I've got an amazingly hot, tanned, ripped, tattooed Brazilian fitness model husband. I've got, we have mimosa Mondays in bed before we even get out of bed. We've got a bottle of cheap champagne and OJ that we have a drink in bed before we even, go downstairs. And no, I'm not bored at all. I'm loving this. And so now I look at the calendar and I see August. We were at the mall the other day, and there were a bunch of kids, running around and screaming and whatever. And so I looked at my husband and I said, I can't wait until people are out of here in the daytime. It's just, right when you used to have either a day off school or maybe you'd call in sick for work and you'd go to the mall, you're kind of like, you know what, there's barely anybody here. It's just so nice. It felt kind of like, it kind of felt special, oh, this is exclusive almost. It felt just sort of, I shouldn't be at the mall right now, but I am, and there's, not everybody's here because people are at work, and that's how I feel now when all you people are having your kids run around and you're not paying attention to them. You're on your phone with your head down. They're running around like maniacs and climbing on things like monkeys in a zoo. Control your fucking children, right? So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it when I go and say, yes, September, people are done holidays, people are back at work, kids are back in school, let's go to the mall again. Let's go to because you're not going to have everybody at the park with their dogs. You're not going to have everybody, because I've got really, really big pet peeves about walking your dog And if your dog is going nuts, or you have one of those little, it's always the little rat dogs that are so yappy thinking they're tough guys. Remember, I've got a husky and a big golden retriever. Like, I've got two big dogs, and they walk just fine. And you've got the little rat dog that is always the tough guy and barking, bark, bark, bark. If you know your dog loses control and can't walk civilly past other dogs, then you go onto the boulevard, you cross the street as we're walking towards us. Don't do this game of chicken where it's like, oh, I know that my dog's going to act the fool, but I'm still going to keep walking towards this guy and his two big dogs. I can't wait for people to be back at work because I've concluded that I don't like people. There you go. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about on the show because I also think people are very, very stupid when it comes to social media use. I've talked about that on the show many times, but this time I think it could actually be dangerous. I'll tell you why coming up in just a little bit. And, also, do you give out too much information about yourself online? Not necessarily on social media, but on websites or using apps. I'm going to give you a heads up about privacy and maintaining, your identity a little bit later in the show. So it's all coming up on the Scribble, and it starts right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Over the years, I've talked about it's not even a dislike of social media. I just have no interest in it. Really, I don't. And of all people, let me tell you, out of most of the people that I know that in my social circle, in my family, I have had an incredibly noteworthy life. And that's not me being cocky or bragging about it. I mean, 15 years on syndicated radio, I covered, I don't even know how many red carpets, interviewed how many celebrities. I was paid to vacation in I don't know how many different cities. And basically, do what you pay to do to go on a family vacation. I was paid to do it. And, so obviously I've done a lot of incredible things for 15 years on the radio. And I have a really hot husband as well. I've got a fitness model husband. So you'd think, after all that you would just think that my entire life would be selfies and pictures, and it's not. I just don't care. Now, here's the deal. Earlier this month, I turned 40 years old. And it was very low key, very low profile. I didn't go and do a big birthday party and have all these. I did little get-togethers with friends and colleagues and associates and whatever. Hang out with this person on Friday, hang out with this person on Saturday, hang out with this person, and that was it. We did a couple selfies, and we sent them like back and forth to each other, and that's it. But nothing was broadcast. It wasn't a big to-do. And so when it comes to social media, I'm now noticing, like I said, I don't spend much time on it, but I am now noticing that people are either just incredibly lazy or not resourceful. Not resourceful would be the term I would use. Because here's why. I saw the other day, now we had a holiday weekend in Canada at the beginning of the month, okay? So on the holiday, somebody had posted on Facebook, anybody know if Costco's open today? And when I read that, I'm sitting here going, okay, wait a second. Hold on a second. Back in the day, you used to get the phone book. You would look up the phone number for Costco, and you would call there. It might be an automated recording. It might be press 2 for store hours. It might be press 0 to talk to someone. It might, whatever. But bottom line was, you'd go to your phone book, you'd look up the phone number, and you call them. It is even easier now because I've just realized this. I'm not a Googler, but I noticed that if I type in, let's say, Walmart and then, my neighborhood or whatever it is, it'll come up right there. And oftentimes it will show you the phone number. It'll show you their website. And if you scroll a little bit down, it'll show you the store hours for that day. Okay, so you can do that. So I'm not understanding why that question, what time is Costco open today, or is it open today, why that needs to be a public post on Facebook. Now, I realize that, yes, people might be helpful and they'll scroll in there, but by the time people are going to notice that, reply, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if somebody posts, you see it, there's the potential that somebody will see it within a minute or two, sure. But I'm just thinking, like, in the time that it took me even to write that, I could have just typed google.com, Costco, Winnipeg, and then found it. So it didn't make sense to me why I saw that. So I kind of laughed and thought, you actually look like an idiot when you do that. I'm not sure that anybody would say that, because I think people would just be well-meaning and tell you, what time, or say I don't know. But, like, there's the asshole in me wants to post a comment and say, why don't you ask Costco? Because truthfully, like, okay, if it's 11 a.m., let's say it's 11 a.m. right now, I post that on Facebook. I'm hoping to get an answer within a couple minutes, right? Like, I could get the answer in 20 seconds right now. I don't have I don't do the show with my phone beside me, but had I had my phone, I mean, I got a computer right in front of me, I guess. But if my phone were here right now, I could start the clock, and then I would go Costco Winnipeg, and I would say literally, 7 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, I would have the answer. So it's strange to me. Like, is the person then sitting there waiting for replies? Like, I'm going to post that question, sit on my couch for the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, wondering what time Costco is open today, and like, it's very strange. It struck me odd. And one of the other things I noticed, and this is, now that I think about it, it's kind of passable, but when people go and say, anybody know of a window company? Anybody know a roofing company? I get why you ask that, because, your friends will give referrals, right? They'll say, oh, I had a good experience with this company. Sure. That's, I guess, maybe the new age way of, talking to a friend. Like, hey, do you know any roofers? Or asking somebody at work, right? You'll put it out there, cast the net in terms of, or in your social media pool, and then, see who has, any revenue. But again, that's also where you go to Google reviews or whatever it might be. Or what's the other one where you post the, somebody will tell me, because I don't know the name of it. The other review website. Somebody get me the name in my ear here. But, so I understand that one. But again, it's kind of like, do your own research then. Go and look for, thank you, Yelp. Yelp is the name of the website. And, but yeah, like, look that up then. I don't know. And I would just, at the same time, you kind of have to weigh that out and go, because one person had a good experience, that's fine, but maybe you want to see how 400 people rated the experience, right? That's what I would do. I would want more than one source telling me how it was, because I know in the past that I had dealt with a company and I had a great experience, and then of course I go and tell somebody when they've asked, it's this situation, right? And they go and have, like, the worst experience with them. So now I kind of feel like a dick, because it's like, oh, well, I told them to go with it, and it was well, that's just the fluke then, right? Go online, see what the average rating is, and see what other people think and what experiences they've had. And the other one that caught my eye, now this one actually is quite serious, and it could potentially be dangerous here, is it's a relative who I don't feel is a very good parent to begin with. Now, I can say that because this is one of those things where people go and say, you're not a parent, so how can you go and say... I can use my judgment on what's good parenting and what's not. I don't feel like I have to... This goes back to, like, that story I told the other week where somebody says, you're not a parent, you wouldn't understand. You know what? Fuck off. I can understand things. I do not have to be a woman, a parent, black, gay, whatever, to understand something. I can grasp, simple concepts. And so with this one, the relative posts on Facebook asking advice about giving Tylenol to her 8-year-old son. Now, again, I realize that you're polling the parents, you're soliciting, feedback, insight, input. But when it's something like that, that's kind of where I, even though I'm not a parent, would draw the line. I am not going to go onto Facebook and ask, I'm going to consider this to be medical advice. You might disagree with me, but I'm sorry. If it comes to medication, that's medical advice, I would say. That, to me, was wrong. Now, I realize it was asking, the post was asking about, like, child's Tylenol or whatever they call it. But again, I don't know. Maybe not necessarily a doctor, but certainly a pharmacist. I would trust a pharmacist or a doctor, and I would call them. I wouldn't post it. Are there any pharmacists on my Facebook page? Are there any doctors on my No, I'm going to call the freaking pharmacy myself. Get the pharmacist on the phone, or the hospital or the doctor's office, whatever it is. I'm going to talk to a medical professional, and a medical professional like a reputable doctor who has a website that has answers to that. Sure, then I would defer to an actual doctor's website. But I don't know. To me, it just seemed really strange that you're going to go and ask rando people on Facebook about giving your kid pills. I don't know. That just seems weird to me. But tell me your thoughts. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. That's the one that crosses the line. Asking about windows, roofers, whatever. Okay, fine. Get some references, referrals, or whatever you want to call it, suggestions, recommendations. Those are the words. Thank you. But is it okay to give my kid such and such pills? I don't know. That would just rub me the wrong way. Now, again, you can go and say, you know what, that's not my kid, so mind your own fucking business. And I do. But at the same time, I just feel like this is a 40-some-year-old woman who, prior to social media, what would she have done? And that's what's so bizarre about this, is that people just think, oh, I'm going to go and ask on Facebook. Oh, I'm going to put it out there on Facebook. And I don't know. Think about that, though. If you didn't have social media, what would you have done? You would have called somebody. You would have, that's really, those were your only options. You would have asked somebody at work, maybe. You would ask, your own doctor. It's just so strange, though, that's the go-to. I want to know what time Costco opens, so I'm going to post a question on Facebook asking people. I'm not going to think to just go directly to the source. I'm going to take some random person's word for it. Or was this just their lazy way of saying, hey, somebody look it up for me? Like, it was so weird. I don't know. What time is Costco open today? Or what time is Costco open till? You're fucking lazy. Go and do it yourself. Get off you're already clutching your phone. Why was your first instinct, I'm going to open the Facebook app? I don't know. Anyway, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. That's something that was just very, very strange to me. I've got more to rant about on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today. 800-319-0582.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Now, it's not just social media where people, I would say, don't exercise the best judgment. It's just online in general. And, we hear so much about identity theft and all these things. Now, I this was a long time ago on the show. I talked about downloading an app and how, let's say, whatever it was, a casino, like a slot machine game or something like that. And I don't play those, but just an example, where you download something you want to play games, and then it says on my phone, it wants access to your phone, your camera, your pictures, your contact list. And I'm sitting here going, okay, wait a second, hold on here now. Why do you need my contact list if I'm just going to be playing a slot machine game or whatever, or a bingo game or something? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And then I think, oh, there's going to be stupid people who just click yes, accept, okay, whatever the button is, and just because they want to play that game or they want access to that app. And it was just very bizarre to me. And so we hear about, like, data harvesting, I think is the term, and collecting all this personal information, what's happening with it, who's getting it. Back in the day when I was probably, I guess I was maybe in high school when I was a teenager, the big thing with your computer was a virus, right? Do you remember? That was the whole thing, was we're going to shut down your computer. There's going to be a virus you're never going to be able to turn on your computer again. And then obviously there was like that spyware thing or whatever they called it, where it would just sort of put things on your computer, and it would, and now we hear about flat out identity theft, where it's basically, people, and I wonder though, sometimes if it's, well, I'm not wondering, I guess I'm concluding that it's user stupidity really is what it is. So, like, I don't know, I would just feel stupid if all of a sudden I click yes on all these things. Yes, the gaming app can have access to my contacts, my phone, my pictures, my this, my that, my whatever, and then all of a sudden, oh, shit, my credit card's being charged over and over and over again overseas, and in Malta, or it's Dubai or somewhere, and I'm gonna sit there and go, now how did that happen? I can't figure it out. Oh wait, that's right, the slot machine wanted access to my address book. Okay, problem. So yeah, I would feel stupid if I had to then call the bank. I mean, I guess somebody like me, I would plead ignorance and go, I don't know how it happened, but I mean, come on, you know how it happened. And so then one of my friends, he's a radio colleague, but whatever, I'll call him a friend for the sake of this. He's big into photography, and he also has a website where, like stock photo websites and things like that. So he makes websites and he does things, and he will use stock photos. And so he was doing a search for whatever it was, a nature photo or something for a website, and he found a site, a pay site, like you'd license the photos, right? You would buy the content. And so he subscribed to it for whatever the monthly fee is, right? I think it was like Shutterstock, but this was an actual photographer guy who sells his photography. So he sells the monthly membership, whatever, let's say it's $20, I don't know how much it was. But the point was that my friend, on, let's say it was a Monday. I'm giving you hypotheticals just to paint the picture. I don't know exactly the details. So let's say it was a $20 monthly membership. He got it on the Monday, the first of the month, whatever it might have been. And then on the Wednesday, he went to log in to get more images, whatever, more content. And there was a digital wall that blocked him. And now suddenly he's got to type in his full mailing information and a copy of his ID. He needed, the website was asking for him to provide pictures, a copy of his identification to use a photo website. So basically, you've paid your monthly subscription, You've had access for 2 days, and it was through a billing processor, so like PayPal, whatever it was. So a third-party website was doing the payment, and then the website, the guy's website, the photographer's website, all of a sudden pops this up. And I said this to him, and I said, okay, wait a second. So you pay through another website. So you gave a different website your credit card or however it was that you paid. And now the guy who doesn't do the payment processing is wanting a copy of your ID. That doesn't make sense. Now, if it was my website and I handle the transaction and I do the processing and maybe something, that your IP address logs to a different country than what your billing information, okay, fine, I get that. But the guy, the photographer, was not the one who does the payment. So if anything, it would be the payment processor. Maybe, I don't know if I would feel comfortable giving if it's a reputable, if it's PayPal or something and they're going and saying, and I'm the one who went to paypal.com myself and I logged into the account. I'm not going to click a link or anything, right? I don't want to tell anybody to do that. But yeah, if suddenly all of a sudden PayPal pops up and says, oh, hey, we need a copy of your ID, I would take that into consideration just because it's a reputable company. I know the name. I would question the why they need it, right? I would have to dig a little bit more to find out exactly why they're asking me for a copy of my ID. Because if I've used PayPal for 15 years, why all of a sudden are they asking me, right? I mean, there's something there. But with this guy, you pay for a membership on Monday through a third party, and then on Wednesday, before you can even log in again. So then I said to the guy, well, that's holding your membership hostage. So you have paid. I said, was your credit card charged? And he went and looked. He said, yeah. I said, then demand a refund. Then cancel and get your money back. Then how are they going to hold your account or your membership hostage when you've already paid? Like, you've done nothing wrong. You signed up for this. So it's basically this person refusing you access to what you paid for until you give him your ID. For photos, like for digital content, that's very strange to me. And I just kind of said, and I'm being the shit disturber that if it was me on that, if I was on that end, like I would then contact the payment processor. It wasn't PayPal, but I'm just using it as an example. Like I'd be on the phone with PayPal, and I'm in the media, right? I'm a reporter, I'm a newspaper columnist, I'm a radio host. I'd be like, you need media relations to give me a call because somebody's asking me for like a copy of my passport. Just to be, and you're the payment processor, you're connected to this guy. So, I need answers as to why why you're allowing somebody like this to, but of course this radio colleague is just very more, laid back than I am and doesn't want to, cause trouble. But yeah, so that's where I just kind of sit there and go, that's a very odd request. And then I wonder again, same thing. How many people go for it? How many people go and say, well, I really need these pictures, or I need this, or I need that image, and that's a great sunset, or that's a great mountain shot, or lake, or bird photo, or whatever it is, and they'll just do it because it's demanding of that. Like, that was very, very sketchy to me. Tell me what you think. Would you do that if all of a sudden you've paid the membership? It's not like when you're signing up, they go and say, that click that you're not a robot thing. This is 2 days after you've paid and your membership is active, that suddenly you can't access the account again. You can't log in again until you send the guy pictures of your ID. Do you think that's sketchy? Would you do it? live@jbonair.com is the email address. live@jbonair.com.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. We're almost out of time. I know I've given you the email address several times already, but in case you missed it, and I always feel like I'm doing a radio show here, and I realize that if you did miss it, you can always just hit rewind by like 15 seconds or 30 seconds, but I give it to you anyway, so you don't have to go back. live@jbonair.com is the email address, live@jbonair.com. Tell me if you just hate people as much as I do. And I don't know that it's because of shutdowns we were secluded, we were away from others for so long, but I just don't like being around people. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some